All right, there we go. We are live. I got a poll question up. Do you think Eric Almirola will retire? He released, or I guess was talking to somebody, saw it somewhere, some video, probably on Twitter or Instagram, where he said it's a fluid situation as to whether or not he will retire. So we will put there. I'm thinking the fluidity of the situation will be whether or not the sponsor decides to let him come back or not. I'm thinking that's the fluid situation. Obviously, I think he still wants to race, but that is my take on that. But there you go. The poll question is up. Also, Chase Elliott is back from his one race suspension. Austin is cleared to race, no suspension for Austin Cindric. It was deemed a racing incident, and I think NASCAR made the right call there. Whether it was intentional or not, I think NASCAR made the right call there because it was so close that it's hard to judge intent on that one. Either way. And also, if they suspended him a race, every single race for the rest of the season, you're going to have to listen to any driver that has any type of contact or anything like that. Every single driver that gets wrecked is going to whine and cry to NASCAR that driver should be suspended. So I think NASCAR made the right call there. So you go ahead and jump down. In the comments, let me know what you guys want to talk about. And also, Corey LaJoy basically released a statement saying that he realizes he needs to get better as well. I still think the setup on that car was off just a little bit, but we'll see what you guys want to talk about for sure. Also, yeah, the link to the merch is right there at the top as well. I did remember to do that today, so we're good to go on that. Looks like 64% are saying yes, he is probably going to retire or be retired after this year. So we'll see what's going on here. Chrome Diesel, what's going on, man? Almirola retires and Herbst goes to the 10. I guess that would be the other possible deal. Who goes into the 10 car? Zane Smith is out there. Riley Herbst is out there. The 21 car is rumored to be opened as well. Philip Canavan, Clinex needs to sponsor a car. Yeah, so there you go. Clinex sponsorship, depending on who you pull for, would be where you want that Kleenex sponsorship to go to. Camaro 50, what's going on, man? Brian Anderson, what's up? Always good to see you guys in here. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of people who think there needs to be a Kleenex sponsorship. A lot of people not happy with. A lot of people that even agreed that Chase should have been suspended were not happy with Denny Hamlin because they felt like he shouldn't have. I guess put the SMT data out there and cried about it, even though they did agree with the Chase suspension. So I think there's a lot going on there. Dennis Gillespie, aloha from the big island of Hawaii. Hey, brother, thank you. I appreciate you being on here, Dennis. And what's up, Hawaii? Aloha. John Lewis, what's going on? But yeah, there's I don't know. There's just a lot going on. The Austin Dillon deal, I thought was it's pretty interesting. Now that he's had a chance to look at the video and look at the SMT data, I'm wondering if he changes his mind, because you can probably understand that he was not happy because he probably took a pretty big lick. That probably had a lot to do with his reaction there. You wonder if he's going to take a look at that SMT data and be like, hey, I was wrong, or is he going to stick to his position that I still think I was wrecked? That's going to be an interesting thing to see going forward as well. Austin Cindric did say he was going to talk to him, that he had reached out and they were going to talk. So there is that as well. Austin Cindric also released a lengthy statement about the wreck that was clearly written by a PR person, which was pretty funny because it was like 3 paragraphs. I was like, dude, just say you didn't do it, and the SMT data shows it. We don't need 3 paragraphs written by a publicist, but it is what it is. Zane Smith is the best choice, but Riley Herbst has the sponsorship. Yeah, that's probably a pretty good bet too. So that's probably. I'm going to leave this poll up a little bit longer. But let me write that other poll down because I forget things a lot. Let's see. Zane versus Herbst. Drop it down in there. Who else you think you could put in that Ford number 10 if Eric Almirola was to retire? I doubt front row lets loose of Zane. Yeah, but that means either Michael McDowell or Todd Gilliland would be available. I'm thinking one of those guys would have to be replaced, right? If they keep Zane Smith, so that would open up that too. So I guess we could throw. Well, I'll just make it both Gilliland or McDowell. So that would be 4 unless you group Gilliland McDowell as one driver. So that would give you 3 options for the next poll that we got coming up here. Yeah, Zane Smith probably is your better choice. Riley Herbst has the sponsorship. I'm not as down on Riley Herbst as a lot of people think. Cole Custer, I mean, not for nothing, you could throw his name in there too. He has won, albeit a lot of people want to be. He won with some help, but he's also lost with some help too. So he won Portland, so he is in the win column in the Xfinity Series. So Cole Custer would be another driver in that Ford pipeline that you could put in there. So that gives me 4 if I group McDowell and Gilliland together, because that would pretty much be the same driver, because one of them has to go if that ride is lost over there at front row. All the suspension chat is like kids crying in a sandbox. Just grow up, man, says John Lewis. Yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with it. I thought it was poor form. Captain Hook reference, by the way. It was poor form on Denny Hamlin. I'm not trying to stop a driver from talking or not having a personality or anything like that. But it's poor form for a driver to get out there and be like, this guy needs to be suspended. It was poor form on Austin Dillon's part as well, especially not even looking at a replay. And I'm a big Austin Dillon fan, but I do think that it is crying to NASCAR that this guy should be suspended because he wrecked me. That's just such a bad, lame way. Even if you're right, it's such a bad and lame way. It's gonna push fans away. I'm not gonna say nobody comes to NASCAR to watch the drama, because drama videos actually do better than anything else, ironically. But everybody complains about the drama. So even though they get the most watches, I think it makes people the least amount of happy when they see all that stuff. Chrome Diesel, what me and Almirola have in common: Smithfield. I'm hauling Smithfield. Fresh ham picked up in Illinois today. I always say Illinois in my mind. Destined for Kentucky tomorrow. That's pretty good. That's pretty good haul right there. Yep. Smithfield, their bacon is pretty good. I haven't had their other stuff. I think they got some spiral. They got all kinds of stuff, but I think I've had the bacon and maybe the spiral ham. But other than that, but yeah, their bacon's pretty good. Will AJ stay another year, says John Lewis? I think AJ, I think over there at Colleague, they'll keep AJ as long as AJ wants to keep going. Dennis Gillespie saying Carson Hocevar. I think Carson Hocevar would have to be one you mentioned in that mix as well. I think he's locked in with Chevrolet, and I think he's going to be probably the next driver of the 8 car over there when Josh Berry goes to the 4 car. So that's obviously the reason I'm not mentioning Josh Berry either, because he's obviously pretty much going to the 4 car. They just haven't announced it yet. I don't know if I spelled it right, but I like him, says Dennis Gillespie. Close enough. I knew what you meant. Chrome Diesel, I'm not going to complain about anybody's spelling because I can't spell worth anything. Chrome Diesel have a Smithfield plant 20 miles from me, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. Smithfield Foods getting a big bump from the audience here today. Like I said, I've had their bacon. I don't think I've had anything else by them. But yeah, they're definitely big down here in the South for sure. See them all the time in our Food Line and whatever replaced Kroger, Harris Teeter or whatever I think replaced Kroger. Hamlin is an incurable whiner, says Harold Chilton. So yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Anytime you call for a driver to be suspended because he wrecked you, you're going to get thrown into the he's a whiner camp. And of course, we know Denny Hamlin's very vocal anytime anything happens to him. But then he'll turn around and do something very similar to somebody else, and then he'll be like, "Well, I'm a hypocrite," and that's all he says about it. So that's Denny Hamlin's style. You either like it or you don't like it. Stephen D'Amelio Jr., Cindric did no wrong, period. With that said, let's look at how Mr. Dillon got his won by fuel mileage, and the other 2 drove right through him, period. Look it up. That's fine, Stephen. How did Austin Cindric get his 1 win? Did he not jump the entire field behind him? If you're going to call out Austin Dillon for it, you got to call out Austin Cindric for it too. He fenced Ryan Blaney and wrecked the field behind him. So it is what it is. That's probably the weakest argument of the entire Austin Dillon, Austin Cindric thing. I was just laughing at it every time I saw it. I was like, Austin Dillon wrecked Eric Almirola to win the Daytona 500. I was like, do you guys remember how Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500? So, I mean, if he deserved being wrecked for winning the Daytona 500 like that, then equally Austin Cindric deserved to be wrecked as well. So that was to me, that was kind of a weak argument, but it is what it is. Like, to me, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I think it was a racing incident at the end of the day. I think most people saw it that way as well, except maybe Austin Dillon. Dennis Gillespie says, I know he don't drive a Ford, but I tell you what, he has talent. Talking about Hocevar. Oh, yeah, Hocevar is definitely really good. Barry to the 4, McDowell to the 10, and Briscoe and 14, Algar to the 41 with another number, all in Chevys. Yeah, so there you go. McDowell to the 10. That's the interesting one. That would be interesting because then Zane Smith would either be, and don't forget the 21 is open too. So there's also possibly another destination for these 4 drivers. Well, allegedly the 21 is open. There's been a lot of chatter that Harrison Burton may be out, but this could be the saving grace for Harrison Burton if the 10 opens up. That means Harrison Burton might be get another year in the 21. John Hale, Harold Chilton. I couldn't have said that better. Hamlin is NASCAR's hack. So another, Denny is definitely polarizing. You either like Denny or you don't. Smithfield used to be Farmland Foods, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. I was wondering what it was called because it sort of came out of nowhere, but to be as established as it was, I figured it had to be named something. So Farmland Foods, I do remember them. And once again, I've had their bacon, but nothing else. I typically don't eat a lot of pork, so I guess I'm pretty much going to say I've had the bacon for everything. Right brand bacon and. Yeah, I don't know. I don't eat that pork. Occasionally a pork chop here and there. Pepperoni, I guess, is technically pork. I lost respect for Dylan when he almost pushed Brad Kay into another pit crew on pit road. I don't remember that one. I remember when they were like bumping into each other at Michigan. Bruce Garvey. But yeah, Austin Dillon's not for everybody. He's definitely another driver that is like for only having 4 wins, he's like super polarizing to people as well. Smithfield has a huge presence at the Midwest States company I work with. Pretty much run trailer yards for Smithfield Foods. So they have a big presence in the Midwest as well. John Lewis, Denny is looking for likes to fill the void of dislikes at the track. LOL, says John Lewis. Yeah, and not for nothing. Denny Hamlin has a podcast to sell too. So that would definitely be part of that as well. That looks like that's getting a lot of traction. I'm going to go ahead and close this one here to 69, a nice percentage there of 69 saying that Eric Almirola will be not driving next season, according to you guys. So let's ask another question here. Start a poll. And I saw like Haley Deegan, who drives the 10. Retires. What if Haley Deegan went to the 21? Man, people's heads would explode. No doubt about that. And then we're going to go. Hopefully, I spelled Hocevar right there. But we'll see. Hill to the 10 or the 31, says Dylan. Austin Hill, yeah, for sure. I would like to see Austin Hill. I should have put Austin Hill in there. I saw that a little bit too late, Dylan. But yeah, I like Austin Hill too. I think he's going to be. I think RCR is going to figure out a way to get him in there. Haley to the 21, says Philip Canavan. That's the one I saw right before I posted that one. Douglas Serrano, hi guys. What a weekend that was. Nice weather at Portland, unlike last year. So yeah, they did at least have nice weather in Portland. The specific Northwest, not known for always necessarily having great weather anyway. So was good that they got some good weather there. And I know it's Pacific Northwest. That was a joke. Philip Canavan, any work for the crew member that got hurt? The word is he's recovering in the hospital or something like that. And he tripped. He was not hit by Austin Dillon, by the way. That was a misreport by Fox. He tripped over his own teammate, and that's how he fell down and got hurt. So that was reported improperly by Fox. I think they retracted it during the broadcast or in the post race. RJ says, "Evening chatters, what's up, RJ?" Almirola is on Race Hub a lot, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I would assume he's going to transition into a Jamie McMurray type role for someone. He does that stuff a lot. That would be my guess. I was there when Dylan pushed Almirola into turn 3 during the 2018 Daytona 500. Yep, he was Once again, he was equally cheered and booed that day as well. To be fair, Eric Almirola did come up a little bit late. And to be fair, if I was Austin Cindric, because I mentioned Austin Cindric earlier, if I was Austin Cindric and Blaney was coming to my outside, I would have done the exact same thing. And he also got Bubba to the inside too. But Bubba kept it straight. But it's the Daytona 500. You got to go for it. So I'm not knocking either one of them, but they definitely made fans feel some kind of way with those two finishes. Looking like Zane Smith 43% right now against Josephus, McDowell, or Gilliland, and the other ones. Let's see. Deegan isn't ready for Cup, in my opinion, says RJ. Oh yeah, for sure. We were just joking around about the 21 deal. I do hope to see he goes to Xfinity next season. So does Justin Allgaier get a Cup ride? Or forever stay in Xfinity, says John Lewis. He's basically said he doesn't want to go back to Cup. I don't know if he's changed his mind. But as far as I know, he kind of wants to stay where he's at. James Fluger just saw the show, number 10 at Lucky's, and told Zane Smith will take over. Okay, so there you go. Looking like Zane Smith might be going to the 10 car. James has a little inside knowledge, apparently, in his neck of the woods. So maybe Stuart Haas is leaning towards Zane Smith. That opens up some other stuff for some other drivers elsewhere, because that opens up Front Row Motorsports truck for somebody. But it'll be interesting to see how Ford shuffles it from that perspective as well. Haley is in Stewart's pocket. She will go to the 98. Her driving SRX full-time is my view. Yeah, she's definitely, in my opinion, I'm with you on that. Not only is she aligned with Ford, but she's also aligned with Stewart Haas Racing. There's no doubt about that in my mind, at least. Who do you think Junior is going to put in a Cup car if they ever do a Cup team? Well, I think it would be somebody that he's got already. So it would either be Carson Voppel, if he goes after Hocevar, because I feel like he might have his eye on Hocevar as well to replace Josh Berry. So I would say basically whoever replaces Josh Berry would have to be high on that list. Martin Truex Jr., he's good friends with him. Those would be my two big guesses right there if I'm just making a guess. John Crane, Harrison Burton moved up too fast. Needs to reset to an Xfinity team. Wood Brothers need a seasoned driver to lift up their program. I agree with you, John Crane. I think even when he was racing late models at South Boston, I feel like they rushed him up from late models a little too quickly as well. I feel like his whole career he's been rushed up, and when he finally gets the chance to adjust to something, he does pretty well. But I agree with you. I would like to see him get a few more Xfinity Series starts in something other than Joe Gibbs equipment, so he can learn sort of the ropes. Because to me, I just feel like that Joe Gibbs equipment in the Xfinity Series is just so daggum good that it's hard to lose in it. So I don't know that you necessarily learn anything. Sometimes the equipment is so good you don't necessarily learn anything because it's just that fast. Douglas Serrano, Benedetto is having a solid season so far in the trucks with some top fives and top tens. Yeah, Matt DiBenedetto, if he hadn't shot himself in the foot with the way he left the Wood Brothers, he would probably be one of these drivers that they're talking about. But unfortunately, he went scorched earth. And when you go scorched earth, sometimes you burn more than one bridge there. James says Sonoma weekend show car locally look great, powered by Bacon. Yeah, Smithfield usually does a pretty good job with how they present their stuff there. Jamie Schweitzer says Hocevar is my choice. Yeah, Carson Hocevar wouldn't be a bad choice no matter where you put him in. I think you saw he acquitted himself pretty well in his one start for the Spire Motorsports Group. OJ and Two-Face, I could see Dave Blaney running the 10 car actually for a couple races next year. Dave Blaney, no doubt. Like young up-and-comer Dave Blaney on Earth 2. No possible way they don't put him in the 10 car, OJ and Toothpaste. That is our first Earth 2 mention of the night. I'm always here for Earth 2 comments, by the way. RJ said, John Crane, imagine if Harrison had Ricky Rudd as a spotter. That would be pretty cool. That would be the Virginia to Virginia connection. RJ also saying, I think Junior will go with the number 88 if Junior goes to Junior Motorsports and Cup Race. And I think 88 would definitely have to be the number because the 8 is already taken. Although I feel like Richard Childress would easily give up the 8. I don't feel like he's necessarily married to it. But now that Kyle Busch is driving the 8, he might not want to get off of it as quick. I think the chance to get the 8 has come and gone. So I do think it would be the 88. That would work out for everybody the best, in my opinion. You think the same way I do. Carson says Dennis Gillespie. Hocevar is the hot ticket, says Roofer. Yeah, he made a big splash for himself this weekend. There's no doubt about it. Hocevar is probably going to the Junior 8 or the RCR 21. Says Dylan. Yeah, that's for sure. Austin Hill is another wild card in this deal. I think RCR is going to move him up. They'll find a charter or some way to work him into the RCR deal. Even if he goes to the 77 and they bump Ty Dillon down to the RCR Xfinity program, that's what I'm thinking will happen there. And then RCR can run however many cars they want to in Xfinity, no big deal. RFK needs to start an Xfinity team to help groom Ford drivers, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, they had a big announcement the other week, and it was just they had a sponsorship with basically the Air Force or the Air Force training deal to sponsor RFK cars. I was really hoping that they were going to at least announce that they were doing the Xfinity Series program again, but that's not what they announced. But hopefully that comes at some point this year. Brad Keselowski has come out and said that his interest is peaked in doing that. RJ says, Mark Barnum agreed. We need 4 drivers in the Xfinity Series pipeline. Yeah, Ford's development, they don't have a huge development team, but the development programs they do have are effective development programs. Like you got Thor Sport in the trucks. You've got SHR basically running the Xfinity deal. So the cars they have are fast. They just don't have a whole lot of them. Will Harvick be among the class of 2025 Hall of Fame or sooner? I forget how many years you got to sit out. I think it's 3 or 4, maybe 5, but he'll be a first ballot no matter when his deal comes up. I'll have to look that up as exactly how many years you have to sit out before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame. Tony needs to at least call Cousin Carl about the 10. I think the people calling Cousin Carl about the one-off rides are going to be the people that have the Project 91 type deals. You can see RFK, obviously Trackhouse, Project 91. RCR could probably do it because they've got an opening spot there. So you could see one of those type teams. 2311 would have an open one. They've done the 67 car, I think. So that would be another option. Let's see. RJ says, there's a reason why the number 88 track since Alex Bowman went to the 48. I mean, that's a fair point. Not seeing much talk about Suarez going to drive SRX at Thunder Road. Suarez has had a robust regular season of trying different race cars, and I really like that for him. And the interesting thing about Suarez is whenever he's jumped into a race car, he's been really good at it. So it's kind of showing you that Suarez is kind of a natural. A lot of people sort of doubted his talent early on, I guess because they thought he wasn't getting results in the Cup Series, but he was a former Xfinity Series champion. So I always thought that was interesting, but it was really, to me, when he jumped when I was at North Wilkesboro, when Daniel Suarez jumped into a late model and a super late model and had absolutely no problem running well in either one of them, I was like, damn. I was like, that dude is good. So I've been on I've always been a Suarez fan, but I've really been on the Suarez train ever since then. And recently, he hasn't this season had all the results to show for it, but he's had some speed this season, especially since Wilkesboro. And that dude, he's about to break out, in my opinion. Douglas Serrano, who else would take a shot in the Trackhouse 91? We haven't talked about that in a while. Well, the next one is going to be SVG. He's going to be in there from the Australian V8 Supercars. He's going to be doing the Chicago Street Course. He's going to be racing that. Let's see. RJ says, Douglas Serrano, I'd like to see James Courtney take a shot in the 91. Yeah, he's not the only. I mean, I'd like to see Scotty McLaughlin. I'd like to see Penske give Scotty McLaughlin a shot over there on some of the street circuits as well, road courses or whatever. I think they all would be good fits. John Lewis, RFK needs to stay focused on the Cup program. They're doing well, in my opinion. Yeah, but they definitely need a driver development team too, because Brad Keselowski's not getting any younger. He's doing good now, but at some point he has to replace himself and move into the sole operator role over there at RFK. So they do need at least a pipeline to get drivers in there. Carl to the 21, says Philip Canavan. There you go. Carl Edwards to the 21. Let's start that rumor. 31%, 39% saying Zane Smith right now in the poll. That is a very split poll. I like it so far. 40% now Zane Smith. As I say that. Speaking of Xfinity, will you spend $180 a year to watch on Prime? I've already got Prime, so to me, I'm not going to spend it just for Xfinity. No, I wouldn't do that. But all the other stuff Prime offers, I think makes it somewhat worth it. I wonder how many sponsors will drop out if the viewership drops. I mean, we've had this discussion before. The viewership is probably going to drop in the first 1 or 2 seasons, but eventually streaming services, to me, cable is going to be like newspapers used to be. And I think nobody really misses newspapers now. But when newspapers started to first go away, people were like, oh, newspapers will never go away. Now you hardly even see a newspaper or print periodical because everybody's doing it online. Same thing with the streaming services. People can't imagine cable shrinking to not being the biggest platform, but eventually streaming services will be the biggest platform. So I think eventually it'll be just something people don't even think about. Count me out on spending $180 to watch Xfinity, says Mark Barnum. Would it be interesting if NASCAR ran a historic? I mean, nobody's going to spend $180 just to watch the Xfinity series, but the Xfinity series being on there to the people that already have it, I think that's just going to add to the value of the people that already have it. Would it be interesting if NASCAR ran historic race series with former Cup and Busch cars? Says RJ. And plus, I think there's some stuff you can watch on Prime for free. So it might be one of those deals where you just have to log into the Prime app to watch it for free. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Super Roofer says 2 years. Talking about 2 years, cable's going to go away altogether. It would be interesting if NASCAR ran a historic race series with former Cup and Busch cars. That's basically what the Xfinity series is. But it would be cool if they rebadged them, reskin the bodies to like the classic. They do it on iRacing, right? Just go back to the old Monte Carlo and go back to the old Thunderbird. That would probably be really cool. Or the Aero Bird, as some people called it. And the Monte Carlo with the Aero coupe back glass. Kyle Busch is selling his mansion here on Lake Norman in Lincoln County for like $7 million. That's a steal, Jamie Schweitzer. Go ahead and scoop that, and we'll do a live show from there. Just go ahead and let me know when you close on that deal. We'll film from there live. Stupid Roofer says after retirement, just about Ryan Fussner just thought about this. AJ Allmendinger has been disappointing so far this season. I thought he'd be a contender. Hey, I'm right there with you. That being said, he can always go get him a road course win or a super speedway win, and he will be in the playoffs. Can only hang for a second, BB. My AC has frozen. Oh, Robert, that's awful, man. I hate that, especially this time of year where it's super hot. Hopefully you get that AC unit fixed, man. Dennis Gillespie, Daniel Suarez is an excellent driver. He learned to drive with wore-out tires. That kid is good. Yeah, I'm with you. I always knew he was good, but then to actually see him just jump into a late model and be that good, I mean, he was highly competitive. Like he was like running top 5, top 6 most of that race. And to have never, and North Wilkesboro is not an easy track. You got to have tire management. Like he very much impressed me that day. No doubt about it. Nice pick, RJ. 68 says Douglas. Satellite will be around forever, says Mark Barnum. Yeah, like satellite is still going to be your better bet. And even DirecTV, they've got the deal where you can look at it. They've got an app where you can look at it no matter where you're at. So satellite will be around for a long time anyway. But satellite has always been something for rural people, people not living in a city. Douglas Serrano, I think people living in a city are typically going towards streaming. Because it just offers to them a better value than cable's offering. Cable is the one I think that's on the chopping block, not necessarily satellite. Douglas Serrano, plus satellite, if you have like an RV or something like that, satellite's going to be your way to go because you don't always have Wi-Fi. I know who also should sponsor Suarez, Aero Mexico. Yeah, I'm surprised. I know back in the day he had some Mexican or Spanish speaking sponsors. He doesn't as much as he used to, but yeah, Aero Mexico would definitely fit. John Lewis, just a matter of a few more years, cable will fall the wayside of hardline phones and pay phones. Yeah, that's what everybody's predicting. I don't have a glass ball, but it definitely seems like that for sure right now. And that's what I think too. So James Pfluger says, was told they're looking at a return to Rockingham for a night race, trying to do market research as it is close to other tracks. Bristol Dirt is over and done with. Yeah, I figured this would be the last year for Bristol Dirt. Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to go up there and see it. Not that I cared anything about it, but I would like to say I watched Bristol Dirt one year live and in person, but never made it up there. RJ says, worst Mountain Dew flavor, Flaming Hot. I can concur with you on that, RJ. I don't know why they made that flavor. They might as well just pour jalapeno juice and put sugar in it because that's what it tastes like. Complete garbage. WCNC report on the Bush House on the market. The agent was Ty Gibbs' mom, says Jamie Schweitzer. So there you go. I'll get up. I'll get up with my buddy that does real estate up there, and I'll put in a bid for way under and see if I get it. 2 years after retirement, drivers can be eligible for the Hall of Fame. I know Kurt Busch when he put his house up for sale. I did see pictures of that. It had a whole lot of marble and stuff like that in it. He had a pretty cool house. I'm sure Kyle Busch's house is pretty cool too. 2 years after retirement, drivers can be eligible for the Hall of Fame. So that will put Harvick at what 2025. So 2025, I guess. 2026. I have Dish anywhere on my phone. Says Mark Barnum. So yeah, Dish is a good one. YouTube TV is where it's at. Says Ryan Fussner. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say good things about YouTube TV. Ty Gibbs' mom is the agent. Says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, I got you. So that's interesting that he still got links to the Gibbs deal. I used to have Dish. Mark Barnum says RJ. 50s NASCAR rules, 60s NASCAR rules, 70s NASCAR rules. 80s NASCAR rulebook class, 90s NASCAR rulebook, 2000 NASCAR rulebook rules, says Baron Von Weebs. I think you just go to a modified rule set. I was just talking about the body because basically the inner workings of the car didn't change dramatically. So you could put whatever body you wanted to on top of them, and at the end of the day, it's just a hard shell on top of the roll cage because most of those cars are based on the 55 Chevrolet chassis, Ford 9-inch rear end, yada yada yada. They haven't changed like a ton from like the 60s until 2000s. A few things here and there for underbody aero and stuff like that, but in general, what I'm saying, they didn't change all that much. So you could just throw whatever body you wanted to on top of them. The only real rule book package or things you would have to change, I guess, would be the plate racing stuff. That would be the interesting thing because that's the only thing that really modulated a whole lot. I currently use YouTube TV, says RJ. Best Mountain Dew product, Real Sugar, says Chrome Diesel. That one's pretty good. I like Code Red myself, and they had another one back in the day, like it was Gamer Fuel or something. It was also red. That was good too. You can never get enough red dye in your life. I'm just kidding. That stuff's not good for you. Michael Honeychuck, where I live, but you're drinking Mountain Dew, so like it is what it is. Where I live, there will never be cable. They say just got fiber, but may as well go back to satellite. Time you pay for all the streaming services, says Michael Honeychuck. I mean, yeah, that's a fair enough. I'm with you on that. I live pretty far out as well, so yeah, pretty much it's a scratch at the end of the day. I have Amazon Prime for other stuff. I just order so much stuff from there that it just makes sense for what I do. Watch DBC this week. The SMI guy was on there saying Bristol Dirt will be back. Hey, so there you go. Bristol Dirt. Some saying it's going to be back. All the stuff I've heard is it's probably gone. So who knows? Once again, one thing about NASCAR, we love the gossip. Super River says, geez, y'all are making me feel old. I still read the paper every morning. Yeah, but I'm some of the places I live, the paper that used to come every day, you can only get it like twice a week now. That's what I'm saying. Like some places, it doesn't even come every day. I think USA Today might be the only one that's still daily. YouTube TV is the best deal, says Michael Honeychuck. BB just band together with all the other content streamers on YouTube, and y'all turn that mansion into a big old studio. Oh, there we go. YouTube NASCAR Hype House. There you go. I'm way too old for that. But somebody will do it eventually. A bunch of NASCAR guys will figure it out one day, and they'll get a hype house. Let's see. RJ, one of my first crushes was Dale Jr. Baloney Burger. I doubt he'd date a trans woman like myself, but he's still a great guy. I don't know. He seems to be married, so I don't know. I thought most NASCAR stock cars were based off the Holman Moody's 65 Ford Galaxy. I mean, it could be. I just know the 1955 Chevrolet was always the one that most people talk about was perfectly built for short track racing. So maybe the Holman Moody deal, when they figured out how to go to bigger tracks, that might have been better for them on that particular deal. Michael Honeychip, yep, buy the mansion and I'll park the RV with the smoker and the kegerator. Oh, if I buy a mansion, there's no need for the RV. We'll just give you the guest house or another wing to it. Let's see. Are Hendrick drivers all tied up with contracts? I could see Larson or Bowman getting courted. Bowman just got locked down for a few years. I want to say Kyle Larson signed an extension too. I can't remember the next one that'll be up. I think they're all locked in for at least a couple years, but I could be wrong there. I miss the good old days when they used to use trailing arms and different shocks. Yeah, the truck arms are from a 64 Chevrolet truck or something like that. I don't know. I might be off on the year, but I know it's from a Chevrolet truck. That's where the truck arms came from, hence the name truck arms. But yeah, trailing arms, whatever you want to call them. Brian Deegan's compound is for sale at Lake Norman too. Yeah, Haley Deegan just posted that she moved to a different house. So I figured that was part of that deal too. Joey Logano, according to WCNC, is using $70 million of his to develop much needed housing in Huntersville off Highway 73. See, for all the bad things people say about Joey Logano, he's out there doing stuff like this. So that's why I'm always like, you can hate Joey Logano in the race car, but I feel like Joey Logano, like the dude, he's pretty solid stand-up dude. Douglas Serrano, it's almost 1 year anniversary of Suarez's first Cup win. I predict they will walk him in pre-race on the pace laps. Well, it could be. I think he's set to break out here before too long because, like I said, he's really started to put it together. He's looked really good in everything he's driven this year. He's sort of coming into his own, in my opinion. When's Newman driving again? Says old home guy. I haven't heard anything. I know he's got a couple races with Rick Ware Racing, but I don't know when the next one's going to be. LOL Doc from Stratos 201 says Michael Honeychuck. Man, when do you think Bowman's going to get another W? Says TJ Mooreshed. I don't know. He has to. He just has to get back in the groove of doing what he does. He looked good before he got injured in the wreck, so I think he'll be all right. The Truck Series chassis haven't changed much since they were first raced back in 1995, says RJ. That's for sure. Michael Honeychuck, like I said, once again, it's just dropping a body on something. I'll do the yard work, says Michael Honeychuck. Bowman gets a win at Pocono. That could be. That is a pretty good. That's an Alex Bowman type track. What's the Cody Ware news? Says old home guy. I'm pretty sure Cody Ware is just going to lay low for the rest of his life. I don't see him ever coming back to NASCAR. If he ever, if his dumb butt can ever, he should probably still be in jail, to my knowledge, because he violated parole, so he should be in jail. So he should be in jail right now. So that's why you haven't heard anything about Cody Ware. Complete moron for what he just allegedly. I guess I have to say allegedly. Bet most of NASCAR drivers would like my dad jokes. I think I should tell Junior joke. Go for it, RJ. Newman will be busy with SRX. Yeah, Ryan Newman is probably going to run for SRX points again too. But if a Cup date opens up, I'm pretty sure he'll jump in there and do that too. Michael Honeychuck, can you chuck a bottle of honey? Cody Ware is done as a race car driver, in my opinion. I think so too. You think Tony will ever race in Cup or Xfinity soon as a fun thing? He expressed some interest in doing the road course at Indianapolis and maybe an Xfinity car or something like that. But that's the last I heard of Tony Stewart wanting to do anything in a NASCAR type car. You think NASCAR should allow for at least 5 Cup teams? I think they've set the cap number at 4. I'd actually like to see them set the cap number at 3. And that would open up more charters for other teams. So I like them to cap the number at 3, and then you can still. I don't think they should ban them from running. You can run as many as you want to, but you can only run 3 for points. So I think these other like Project 91s. I think everybody should be allowed to have a Project 91 type car. It just doesn't count toward points, and you can't run it all season. You would have to put a cap on the number of days that you can run it. But yeah. I think they should actually decrease it to three charters per team. That's as many as you can have. And that's the end of it, because that would free up some charters for people like Dale Jr. and all them that want to get in. It would free up a charter for 2311 to get their third charter, and just, all types of stuff like that. I think it would be beneficial to the sport. You think, Tony? I just read that one. RCR is super far out from Kyle's house. Compare that to JGR, which is closer and towards Charlotte. I bet they are selling so that Kyle isn't driving an hour each way to the shop with kids, KBM, and all that. Yeah, so Welcome, North Carolina is a pretty good drive from most of the Charlotte stuff. Welcome, North Carolina being where, of course, that RCR is located. So, yeah, he's probably moving closer. That makes a whole lot of sense. And, I mean, he's got enough money that it probably won't affect him one way or the other. So, yeah. Stupid River says, I like 3. Yeah, the 3 deal seems to be like more of a thing that would work out. Like, it just opens up more opportunities for younger teams to get into the sport. It would give Trackhouse a chance to get a third team, a third charter, things like that. It would give Rick Ware a chance to get his third charter back. I know we all want to see that. Stupid Roofer says, let others play. Yeah, there you go. Like, it just opens it up for other teams to get involved. I think that would be the cool deal. The more I look at the points, the more I think Elliott really does need a win, says Jay Campbell. So before he flared up and lost his cool with Denny Hamlin, he probably had a really good chance of pointing his way in. Now that he has basically given up another race by having to sit out, I don't think he can still mathematically point his way in, but I think he's going to be in win and get in mode, if I'm guessing. Jay Campbell, the more you just read that. Old home guy says Cup car looked awesome and sounded BA at Le Practice. Yeah, so they're practicing for Le Mans, and they've got the Garage 56 entry in there, and that car looks really good. I'm not sold on the paint scheme. The paint scheme sort of whatever, but it is a good-looking car other than that, and it's holding its own. I just hope it can last the full 24 hours. That's what I want to see. It will be really disappointing if that thing breaks down before at least 12 hours, but typically these Garage 56 deals, they don't run the whole race anyway. But I'm hoping this car can be the exception to that rule, and hopefully it's also fast enough that it doesn't get the flag to pull in because it's not fast enough as well. So that's what I'm looking for there. Guess which track I'd rebuild if I ever won the lottery? Metrolina, LOL, says RJ. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that miss old Metrolina. It is so far gone, you're going to need to hit the lottery really big to get that one back. But, yeah, there's Dale Jr. took the entrance to Metrolina, and he's got it at his compound, entering one of the areas on his compound, I guess. I guess he's got a whole lot of land. I mean, I know he's got a whole lot of land, but I think he's got just an ignorant amount of land. So he's got it on there somewhere. Old home guy, I see Elliott leaving Hendrick. Oh, man, that would be a wild story. I don't know if Chase Elliott would ever leave Hendrick, but I will say this. I thought about this the other day, and it was just a random thought. Bill Elliott, whenever he was driving a red car, was really, really good. The red 9 Thunderbird, the red number 9 Dodge, he was really good in that. The number 11 red Budweiser car for Junior Johnson. But you remember the years he was bad? He was running the blue Coors Light number 9. So by that thought process, is Chase Elliott being held back because he's driving a blue car? Like, would Chase Elliott be faster if he's driving a red car? Those are the questions that need answers right there. And that's going to be the next poll question. So there you go. In case you guys wonder what I think about in my spare time, that type of stuff. There we go. Ask the community. Who is the best driver on Earth 2? Asking Chrome Diesel asking who is the best driver on Earth 2. If you're going all time, I got to go Jimmy Means on Earth 2. I see Elliott leaving Hendrick. I just read that one. Corey LaJoy should drive the 10. 53% saying yes. I like it so far. Corey LaJoy driving the 10. He's by far the most experienced. I think him and Tony mesh well. Corey LaJoy, that's another outlier. I hadn't even thought about him, but yeah, I like where you're going with that, Casey. Jay Campbell, honestly, I don't see Elliott going to the Final Four, says RJ. So that's another conversation altogether because he has been off this year just a little bit. That 56 car sounded awesome, says Roofer. BB, you think that Ryan Blaney will get another win before the playoffs? I do think Ryan Blaney will get another win. Hopefully he gets a lot. RJ saying Bill Elliott struggled in the red 94 sponsored by McDonald's. Yeah, but he was driving his own car back then. And for the sake of argument, that one had too much white on it. It wasn't purely red like the other ones. And yes, I know the Coors car had a little bit of white on it too, but it was white and gold. It wasn't white and yellow. Yeah, makes no sense, but we're rolling with it. Peanut Butter Hero. What about the red 94 McDonald's? He did get some wins in the red 94, by the way. Just not as many as he got in the Coors. There you go. I like Jimmy in the white 48, cursed. Yeah, that's true. Jimmy Johnson, if it wasn't like blue and silverish, he didn't win as much. I always remember the blue and silver ones with the yellow number. He went winless those years, says Peanut Butter Hero. Bubba is inching closer to a win this year, says Douglas Serrano. Yeah, he's been running good. There's no doubt about that. 2311 has had fast cars, but they've been up and down with their finishes. Yes, because there's a red car looks like it's going faster, says Mark Barnum. Wild Theory, Chase plus McDonald's plus the 94 car at 2311. There we go. Let's start the rumors. Ryan Fussner, Chase Elliott to 2311, and let's just make it real spicy. Dodge, the 2311 Dodge. 2311 goes to Dodge. TJ Mooreshed, they say stickers won't make a car faster. Am I not the only one who disagrees? I'm with you on that, TJ Mooreshed. Car looks good, you drive better. There's no doubt about that. Peanut Butter Hero, right? He never won as an owner driver, to be honest. Oh, so he never won in that car. Let's see here. I just remember the Batman. I remember the Batman Batbird or whatever they called it. The Batbird, is that what it was called? I just remember that car from the 94 era, the 94 car era. What's popular? I forgot completely about the number 94 when he owned his own team. On Earth 2, NASCAR or F1. What's more popular on Earth 2, NASCAR or F1? I don't know. On Earth 2, I guess it would be opposite, right? So F1 would be bumping and banging, and they would have fenders, and NASCAR would be the cars that are you can't touch them or whatever. So I guess I would have to say, but I guess NASCAR would have to be more popular because it's reversed. So worldwide, NASCAR would be more popular, but in the United States, NASCAR would be less popular. Whatever happened with Ernie Elliott's wife trying to run him over? I have no idea, old home guy. I hadn't thought about that in years. Do we have numbers on the Chase in the Hooters car? LOL, says Jay Campbell. Yeah, I don't know. We need to get some statistics on that. Has he even won in the Hooters car yet? I can't remember. With Tony being focused on his drag racing team and not SHR, Gene being focused on F1, I think Stuart Haas is a mess with the exception of Kevin Harvick, whose back hurts carrying Stuart Haas racing this year. They keep saying Stuart Haas racing is down, but Kevin Harvick keeps finishing well. So is Stuart Haas racing down, or do they just need better crew chiefs? Are the drivers not experienced enough? It is what it is. We know Ford's down, so we know Ford's down because the nose is off. Would it be interesting if BMW entered NASCAR with the M5 or M8? It would definitely be interesting, and I would be here for it. I don't care who. I would love to see like 8 different manufacturers in NASCAR. I think that would be the coolest thing ever because that's when it was fun back in the day. SHR is definitely a mess compared to a few years ago. Well, yeah, they're definitely not where they were a few years ago. There's no doubt about that. Or even the M4. Is JD McDuffie a champion in Earth 2? No doubt about it. In my opinion, JD McDuffie is a champion on Earth 1 as well. But yeah, JD McDuffie, absolute champion on Earth 2. Any chance we'll see Pepsi return to NASCAR when the next TV deal is done? I don't know. For whatever reason, NASCAR doesn't line up with the ESG score type stuff that everybody's chasing right now to get better loans and stuff like that from the bank. So I don't know. I don't know why that is, but it is what it is. But until that happens, I don't think we're going to see a lot of corporate entities that want to chase stuff like that. So we might not see Pepsi back. I don't know. Is Batman? It's the Batman Forever car, says Stephen D'Amelio Jr. I think they called it the Thunderbat. It wasn't the Batbird. They called it the Thunderbat. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though, buddy. Thunderbat. That's what they call that thing. Old home guy says Chase in the SHR or Penske car to bring Ford back. And if anybody has a picture of the Thunderbat, feel free to drop it in the comment section because that thing was cool. You have to have the little wrench by your name to post in the comment section. I always forget to say that when I say that. So, yeah. But yeah, the Thunderbat was like really cool. Too bad that was like the worst Batman movie of all time. Chase is distracted by the girls in that on that from his sponsor on that car. RJ says, Jamie Schweitzer, I want to see some NASCAR Mountain Dew ads. To be honest, Dewey Ryder, I think, was like the last great NASCAR Mountain Dew campaign, and he was at the racetrack the other week, so that came full circle. I would like to see Mountain Dew come back, which would be vicariously Pepsi. And the only time Elliott went to victory lane in the '94 car was, I believe, in the 25th anniversary card. He won the Busch Clash at Daytona. That's probably what I was remembering. I thought he won one race, but it was like a Busch Clash, so it wasn't a points race. I was wondering why I was having false memories of him winning in a '94 car. Appreciate it there, Steven. Stupid Roofer saying LOL to Mark. Not the Busch Clash. One of the 2025. The Gatorade duels, or whatever they call them now. The twin 125s, I guess, is what they would have called them back then. That thing's changed names so many times too, man. Yeah, appreciate it. He won one of the twin 125s, but yeah, still not a points race, but he won a qualifying race. So that must be what I'm remembering, because I was like, I know he went to victory lane in it, I felt like, but then I was like, did I dream that? So there we go. You made me feel better, because I was like, dang, I'm going crazy. I clearly remember him winning in that '94 car at least one time. Tony, multi-purpose as well, says old home guy. Dennis Gillespie, Alan Kowicki, the Underbird. Yeah, Alan Kowicki's Underbird was another renamed Thunderbird. So the Thunderbat was Bill Elliott. The Underbird was Alan Kowicki's car that he won the '92 championship in. Chase is winless in the Owl scheme, says Chrome Diesel. I'm skipping that because I don't know how many times I can say that on the tubes without getting the yellow monetary sign of sadness. I do have to play within the rules of where I'm at. SHR is going to be a mess without Harv. I don't know. I feel like Josh Berry is pretty good. He'll step in there and do a pretty good job. But they'll have a rebuilding era. Josh Berry. Remember when Hendrick had a rebuilding era too, though? Everybody's like, "Oh, Hendrick is over with." Now look at Hendrick. They went young early and they got it over with. Josh Berry will probably struggle as a Cup Series rookie. All the Cup Series rookies have struggled so far, except for Ty Gibbs. I think Josh Berry will be okay. Noah Gregson's struggling because Chevrolet pulled funding, basically, because they know that Legacy is going to Toyota. I might have a Thunderbat diecast. I definitely have a Thunderbat diecast. I had two of them, one that I took out of the package and one I kept into the package. Old home guy. RJ, you could do that back in the day when they cost like $3 at Rose's. RJ says, old home guy, how crazy is Bruce Wayne? He's definitely crazy. No doubt about it. Dying to see, my guess would be batshit crazy. Dying to see the day we have a NASCAR SUV series. I really wouldn't mind. Says TJ Moorshed. I mean, it's headed that way. That's what most people are driving. So it'll probably be like a small compact SUV, but it's headed that way. Eventually it'll be a series like we have the truck series. So we'll see what happens when that happens. Good evening, Blunderberger, and everyone else out there, says William Wagaman. Good evening, William. Hope you're doing good today. RJ says, imagine if I was one of the girls, LOL. So there you go. I have a Thunderbat car. I just can't send you a picture of it, says Steven D'Amelio Jr. Yeah, I've got one too. I just can't get up and go get it because it would take me quite a minute or two to find it. Let's see. I prefer sedans and wagons, says RJ. So yeah, I think if they do the SUV, it would basically look like a wagon by the time NASCAR got done with it, because it would be so low to the ground. The first NASCAR Cup I fell in love with was the '88 Gatorade car of DW in the '70s. Yeah, so I got one of my uncle's hand-me-down toys. I had an '88 little Ertel, ERTL. I think it's called Ertel. They used to make the diecast back in the day, way before Racing Champions, way before Action Diecast and all that. It was a little company called ERTL. I think you pronounce it Ertel. And they had all the old school Monte Carlos and stuff like that. And I had hand-me-downs of the 27 Valvoline, the 88 Gatorade, the 88 Mountain Dew, a 15 Wrangler, a 33. No, I didn't have a 33. I didn't have a Harry Gant. I had another green car. I had another green car, but I can't call who it is off the top of my head. But I had a few of those. Those are some of the very first diecasts I ever had. And I still got a couple of them. I see Porsche wanting to come to NASCAR. LOL, says RJ. They did in the 40s and 50s. In the 50s. I want to say back when they had the sports car stuff. I think there was a Porsche that was run at some point. Josh and Corey at SHR will be a good rebound for losing Harvick. Says Christopher Perry. Yeah, so if they grab Corey LaJoy, that would be cool too. The Soccer Mom series. Says Mark Barnum. Yeah, I don't think they'll call it that in this era of PC where people get upset about all kinds of things. So I don't think that will be the name they go with. But I like how you're thinking there, I guess. Napa Racing Fan. Plus, I think Soccer Moms are minivans too. So that would have to be a minivan series. If I'm thinking correctly, Napa Racing, unless SUVs are the new minivans, I don't know. I'm out of the loop. I don't watch a lot of mainstream stuff. Do you believe the rumor that Michael McDowell to the 10 could be true? I'm thinking of Zane Smith. Michael McDowell, top candidate. Zane Smith, second. I'm thinking Zane Smith is the bigger candidate there. The only way I could see Michael McDowell going there is if Zane Smith goes to the 36 and or the 34 and replaces Michael McDowell. Blaney is going to be hard to take out of the lead in points, says David Nyhoff. So yeah, how crazy would it be if he wins the regular season points after Kyle Petty said he never does anything? So that would have to be a crow sandwich for Kyle Petty to eat there. But I do like that Kyle Petty puts it out there what he's thinking. Ertel used to make Thomas and Friends diecast until 2004. Yep, I have been on the search for some of those Ertel Thomas and Friends diecast to give to help some of my friends get to their kids who are going through their Thomas the Train phase. Could we have all B's in the final? Blaney, Bush, Byron, and Bell. That would be pretty cool. YouTuber Vice Grip Garage is giving away Buick DW car street legal. Says Old Home Guy. I saw something about that. I didn't know it was a YouTuber channel, but I saw street legal Buick NASCAR or something like that. So that was pretty cool. And it was obviously painted up like DW's 88. Bloney Burger, I have a Ertel first gen Ford F-150 Lightning that I got from Tractor Supply. LOL. Hey, there you go, RJ. So Ertel still, I guess they're still in business, at least up to 2004. I feel like Loves would up their deal with McDowell to have him at SHR. Oh, there you go. That could be the DLC. Ertel is an Iowa company in Dyersville, I believe. So there you go. I didn't know they were out of Dyersville. So how about that? Okay, I've had a few beers, but I remember Banjo Matthews chassis, front and rear steer. There were other people who built them, says Dennis. So yeah, that was for like a rear steer car. So that was you're getting into a whole different bag of crazy as far as how a chassis is designed there. But yeah, if you went with the Banjo Matthews design, that was a different deal altogether. But I think at one time they were all based off the 55 Chevy, and then maybe he converted everybody to rear steer for a little while. So yeah, you get into all kinds of you're getting into trick stuff then. But I'm talking about just basic. The basic chassis is basically unchanged since the 55. But I could be wrong. Who knows? Would be cool if Tim Allen ever came into NASCAR as a team owner, says RJ. Yeah, that would be cool. It would sort of be like when Burt Reynolds and Hal Needham came in from the Hollywood side. Like Dislike says, NASCAR in 20 years, Sammy Smith and Ty Gibbs are retiring from the NASCAR SUV All-Electric Stadium Series. It's not that far from the truth. I wouldn't guess. That definitely could be something that happens on Earth One, as crazy as it sounds. Legacy will buy out JGR with help from 2311. That could happen one day. I don't know. Remember Ford was out in left field last year, but won the title. Yeah, so sometimes that's the way it happens. I can't remember what year it was, but Ford won just about every single race. And Dale Earnhardt won the title. Same thing with Chevrolet back in the day. Ford won a bunch of races, but Jeff Gordon won the title. So every once in a while, the manufacturer that wins the manufacturing title, a different driver driving a different brand wins the actual driver's title. BD, if you had a poll on preferred broadcast, Fox or NBC, I feel like it's going to go NBC because of the junior effect. But let me take this one down because this was just a fun poll anyway, and I'll put that one up. All right, so there we go. No offense to Almirola, but with Harvick leaving, it makes sense for SHR to completely rebuild. Losing Smithfield money will hurt them short term, but talent wise, they'll gain long term. So yeah, that's what I was just talking about with essentially what Hendrick did back in the day when they went young with William Byron, Alex Bowman, and Chase Elliott. So a 7-time winner will be king of Toyota. LOL, says John Lewis. It could be. You never know. RJ says, I have a Canon called the RF Universe that includes NASCAR with the CS as a Premier Cup Series. There you go. AJ Allmendinger. Anytime I see Canon RF, I just immediately think about a camera for some reason, RJ. So I'm stumped on that question. RJ Douglas Serrano says AJ Allmendinger in both Sonoma races, and he is the favorite this weekend. So there you go. We'll have to see who wins that. So far, NBC was 64%. That's what I was thinking. I believe, as Jeff Burton says, Dennis Gillespie, would SHR's franchise driver be Chase Briscoe then? I would assume yes. Yeah, I think their guy that they would build around would either be Josh Berry or Chase Briscoe. Both about the same age. Josh Berry really good at setting up a race car. Those NASCAR Thunderbirds were great cars for years, says old home guy. Yep. I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Hint, hint. There could be future content. Would SHR's franchise driver be Chase Briscoe then? I would assume. So I just answered that one. Will NASCAR ever run an automatic transmission? Well, they're basically what they're running now. Since no cars have manual transmissions anymore, there's still a few manual transmissions out there like this. But yeah, they're basically running a manual. An automatic right now. You just bump the gear one way or the other. You clutch it to start it, then you bump it into gear. AJ Allmendinger has so many chances slip away at Sonoma in Cup. Yeah, he's had crazy stuff happen to him in Cup. It's about time. I found this for Thunderbat, says Stupid Roofer. So we got a YouTube channel for Thunderbat there. If you think Dodge returns, Penske would be the first to go to Dodge. I think Stewart Haas Racing would be the first to go to Dodge, if I'm guessing. I think RFK will go to 3 Cup cars. Yeah, I think RFK is looking at expanding as well. I would agree with you on that one there, home guy. Chrome Diesel, do you think Xfinity will renew the title sponsorship deal? I think so. Roofer saying, RJ, calm down. Only joking around, says RJ. Let's see. And that looks like that's as far as I've got in the chat. So if you guys want to talk about anything else, we got the Eric Almirola thing. I think we covered that. Corey LaJoy owning that he didn't run well. I don't know what we need to cover there, other than I thought it was pretty solid of him to come out and say that. We've done the poll for Herbst and Chase coming back. So there you go. I guess we could do. You guys think Chase will make the playoffs? We've already got one poll up here. Looks like NBC is winning. Do you think Chase will make the playoffs though? Let me see yes or no in the chat. We'll try to see what you guys think there. What am I working on this week? We got Orange County this week and Ace Speedway. I'll be filming. Everyone knows the best Thunderbird was the Underbird. Rest in peace. Alan Kowicki, I hit the like button, says like this, like that. So if you would like to hit the Thunderbirds go, there's the Bill Elliott of all time, the red number 9. That's one iconic. Davey Allison's number 28 with the bubblegum red looking numbers, just the way that car looked, all-time icon of all time. Then you've got the Alan Kowicki, and that car, because of the 1992 season, will be iconic all time. And just him being a legit owner operator that won a championship, that car will forever be iconic all timer. Then you've got the black and yellow Rusty Wallace car that he actually drove it last weekend in St. Louis. That car is another iconic Thunderbird. And those are just the NASCAR versions, right? So then you got the Turbo Coupe on the street version side of things. Like this is a car that started off as a performance car for Ford that they wanted to see. They wanted it to compete with the Corvette. Then through a series of things going on, it morphs into various other things. But then in the 90s, the late 80s and 90s, you get the Turbo Coupe, and then there was the special. There was some Thunderbird. There was some special vehicle team deal Fox body Thunderbird, like 96 through 97 or 95 through 97. And that thing had a supercharger on it. It is the most sleeper, fastest car you will ever see in your life. I think it's called the Thunderbird SC. And that thing was absolutely sick. But other than that, a lot of people don't remember the Thunderbird. When you say Thunderbird to somebody on the street, they remember the two-door, and then they remember the 2004 two-door. But to NASCAR fans, there's this lineage of Thunderbirds in between that were really awesome. And ironically, what hurt the Thunderbird the most was the Mustang coming out. The Mustang and the Torino is what hurt the Thunderbird until they made the Thunderbird their main NASCAR car when the Torino basically bowed out. Let's see. I know RJ is funny, but let's keep the channel going and not nuke it, says Roofer. Many good Thunderbirds, says Old Home Guy. Yeah, I was just trying to name off a couple off the top of my head. Must be storms in your area, says Old Home Guy. Yeah, I think I'm struggling. I can see myself fine on my feed, but that doesn't mean anything. Oh, yeah, appreciate it, Roofer. There is the merch store right there. Roofer just posted it. If you want to check out the hats, the T-shirts, all that good stuff. Accelerated Graphics is the place to go for that. Just look at their... well, you got the link there. I would love for you to do a show on Kenny Wallace, says Dennis Gillespie. Maybe. I do have some thunderstorms in my area, by the way. What do you call a snoring hound? Flash, says RJ. The Super Coupe. That's what it was called, SC for. Old Home Guy, the Ford Thunderbird Super Coupe. I appreciate it, man. Thank y'all. Best chat in the biz, says Roofer. Would you take the black 28 over the white and gold old school look from 87 to 89? Yeah, to me, the black and red, to me, now don't get me wrong, the other one looks really good too, and I usually like chrome numbers better over everything, but to me, that red number on that Davey Allison car, to me, that was just so iconic. When that thing came out, there was nothing other than Richard Petty's car that was even close to as good looking as that car. The last Thunderbirds were made in 2005, says RJ. Yeah, and that's when they went to that retro. The retro cars were either a hit, like the Camaro, the Challenger, or the Mustang. But then there were some duds with the Dodge Prowler, the Chevrolet truck-looking thing, whatever that was, the Chevrolet SS truck-looking thing. And then, of course, that Thunderbird. None of them sold really well. They were overpriced and didn't have enough with them. Plus, that Thunderbird had a Jaguar engine, too. So it wasn't – that turned off a lot of people that wanted it to be purely American-made or whatever. Philip Canavan, I know somebody that had a Thunderbird SC and used it to street race with, says Philip Canavan. So, yeah, those cars were sneaky good. And as a Chevrolet guy, we were racing the Lumina back then, and I was so jealous because that Thunderbird looked so good. And I was like, that Lumina looks like absolute ass, period. And then you got the Thunderbird out there looking good and being a rear-wheel drive car with a V8. It was a bad day to be a Chevrolet fan. That's all I'll say about that. I can see Die Hard sponsoring at least a truck team now that they have been bought by Lowe's, says Jamie Schweitzer. That would be pretty cool. In the early to mid 1990s, T-Birds and NASCAR had the best paint schemes of that era, minus any driver named Earnhardt or Gordon in a Chevrolet. Yeah, another good one that people don't remember is the X-Side batteries of Jeff Bodine, the number 7. He took over for Alan Kowicki and kept that thing going. That number 7 X-Side car, I always thought that was a really underrated, good-looking car, too. Douglas Serrano, next truck race is at Music City in Nashville. The Mark Martin Valvoline Thunderbird scheme was my favorite. Mark Martin never had a bad Thunderbird scheme, in my opinion. Old Home Guy, yard work to do before dark. Got to go. Appreciate you hanging in with us, Old Home Guy. RJ says, would Davey Allison get along with Dale Jr. If he was still alive? Oh, yeah, for sure. I think those guys would have been pretty good friends. Mark's car was the best, says John Lewis. The one he had that 1 year at the Brickyard is probably my favorite Mark Martin paint scheme. It doesn't get as much run as some of the other ones, but he only ran it like 1 or 2 times, but that thing was bad to the bone. Miller needs to return. I wish they would. Plymouth Prowler, you mean? Oh, yeah, Plymouth Prowler, my bad. You're right. But that thing, it looked like a concept car, and it just never sold well. Later, Home Guy saying, Roofer, I got to see Alan's Underbird at the Hall of Fame in Charlotte a few years ago. That's pretty cool. GMC Cyclone pickups are rare these days. Yes, that was pretty much in that era. The only good thing Chevrolet had going for it was the S10s and the S10 Extremes and stuff like that, because they were the only rear-wheel drive thing you could get other than a Camaro. What's up, BB and everyone? What's up, T-Van? That V8 in the T-Bird was in the Jag XK8, but it was made by Ford, says Sonny V. Spire Motor Sports number 7 is basically Alan Kowicki's old team, since they also own the own shop. Yeah, they're out of the old AK shop, no doubt about that. They even posted like a retro picture of they set both 7 cars out there. I guess originally they had the Alan Kowicki 7 car, and then they recreated the Alan Kowicki 7 car picture when they first moved into that shop. Dennis Gillespie, Chevrolet man, always will be. Back in the old days, everybody ran Ford rear ends. Yep, no doubt about it. The cars look better back in the day when they used to paint them. Says like this, like, yeah, for sure. Wrapping is easier and I guess technically more aerodynamic, but those old paint jobs were really cool. I once saw one of Alan's Underbirds on a trailer being towed on the street. No joke. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. I vote for Jamie McMurray for the Fox booth over Clint Boyer next year. I don't know how a 4-man booth would work, but for Fox, but they'd bring Larry Mack back as full-time analyst too. No doubt about it. The Cyclone was nasty, says Stupid Roofer. Yeah, you can find. I don't know if you guys follow them or not, but if you look up Donut Media, they got one on the Cyclone, and they've also got a video on the Thunderbird, if I'm not mistaken, as well. I predict Corey LaJoie will finally get his first Cup win this year, says Douglas Serrano. I hope he does. Probably be at a super speedway, but I'm hoping he does. He's been close several times on super speedways. I think Joy, Harvick, McMurray, and Reynolds Booth would be great. I'm with you, Napa Racing fan. I think that would be a pretty solid booth for sure. RJ says Sonny V. Ford never offered a Rover V8 in the Thunderbird. The Thunderbird V8 basically came from the Mustang. The one was in Thunderbird. Was the modular 4.6, which ironically the Rover V8 that is most famous. Are you talking about the Land Rover? I'm talking about Rover over in I guess the UK. I don't know how far Rover went in Europe, but I know they had it in the UK. But Rover, which was not Land Rover, but I guess a different car manufacturer, they had a V8, but it was basically based off of Chevrolet V8. According to Top Gear, if I'm remembering that episode correctly, because I was surprised by that. I was like, damn, they're running a Chevy V8 over there. That was pretty cool, and it was sort of iconic. At least it was based on a GM V8 design, I guess. Chick-fil-A won't ever sponsor Cups since they are closed on Sundays. Joking, says Jamie Schweitzer. What's funny is they sponsored the Atlanta Falcons, and even though all the Falcons games were mostly on Sundays, they still had a Chick-fil-A store in there, even though it was never open on Sundays. Let's see. RJ Bansma, Bloomberg Land Rover is a spinoff of Rover. Their V8 was a Buick V8. That's it. Originally in the Olds Jetfire. There you go. Appreciate it, RJ. After I rambled long enough, thanks for swinging in there and saving me. Let's see. Rover V8 was a Oldsmobile aluminum V8 back in the 60s when it was developed. So there you go. Buick Oldsmobile style V8. Jamie would be a great replacement for Boyer. David Wilson from Toyota is eating his ego. I don't think Toyota necessarily wanted to let Kyle Busch go. And I will say this, I've been pretty consistent on this. The reason that Toyota is investing so heavily in all these other teams now, like 2311, and they just bought Legacy Motor Club, and in my opinion, they're probably looking at buying the 47, is because they don't want to give Joe Gibbs as much control as Joe Gibbs had over losing Kyle Busch again. They don't ever want to be in that situation again. So Toyota is bringing more teams in there to take power away from Joe Gibbs Racing. I think Toyota is mad at Joe Gibbs because of how that whole deal went down. So we can put the blame on David Wilson. He did have a part in Kyle Busch getting away, but I think Toyota and David Wilson as a whole they don't hate JGR, obviously, but I think they're unhappy with how that situation went down, and they're taking steps to make sure that they're never put in that position again where they don't have an option to put Kyle Busch somewhere, if that makes any sense. Napa Racing fan, does Chase Elliott truly regret intentionally wrecking Denny Hamlin, or is he just play into the media? I don't know. I feel like he just doesn't like Denny Hamlin over the Martinsville thing back in the day, and I don't know if he'll ever like him as long as he's driving a race car or they're both driving race cars on the track. They might like each other when one of them retires, but I think he just doesn't like him, and any type of incidental contact from Denny Hamlin is something that could make Chase Elliott lose his cool. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you that, but that's just me guessing. I don't know. You have to ask Chase Elliott that. I was in high school in the early 90s and saw the red number 28 on a rollback heading through Green Swamp on Highway 211 on the way to the beach in North Carolina. That's awesome. Back in the day, they had the open trailers where they carry them, or they had the trailers with the glass see-through where you could see the car. I remember seeing Frank Kimmel's Advanced Auto Parts car several times in a glass trailer. My mom called at the time to find out where the car was being shown, and she said that Robert is taking the car to a friend's house. Oh, that's pretty cool. So Mr. Yates was taking it to a friend's house. JGR has too much power with Toyota, says RJ. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. I'm not buying it. Napa Racing Fan, says Roofer. JGR, too much power with Toyota. I don't know how to feel on it, says Napa Racing Fan. Yates Racing got me hooked on the sport. Yeah, so even Marty Smith, I think. Who's the dude with the crazy hair? The dude from ESPN that covers all the NASCAR stuff that always wears the Jordans. Marty Smith or not Marty Snyder. It's Marty Smith, I think. That was he's from Alabama, and he said that was what got him into NASCAR was that number 28 Davey Allison car. So basically, that paint scheme got him into NASCAR. Say Kyle, late to the party. Here's your reminder: William Byron would be leading the points if NASCAR didn't go on a witch hunt for him. Hey, so there you go. I guess the counterpoint to that would be if because a lot of people would think Hendrick cheated. If Hendrick cheated, he'd also be in the points lead too. So I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is. That whole thing was a mess. RJ says Bologna Burger Chase basically did to Denny what Denny did to him back in 2016 at Martinsville. Denny started that rivalry. Oh yeah. So there you go. Timber Ace Yates Racing is one of those reasons why number 68 is my number, says RJ. Hey, Baloney Burger. Hey, Baloney Burger and Chat Burgers. What's up, Dude Chronic? Good to see you in here. Napa Racing Fan. I still find it ironic that Regan Smith for Fox did a Coke interview with Hamlin and Elliott at Wilkesboro, only for Elliott to wreck Hamlin. 1 week later, Hamlin praised Bill Elliott in the Coke interview. That's pretty funny. Roofer saying, what's up, Duke? Tide Machine would be great to see return. Yeah, Tide never had a bad paint scheme. To me, I always I told you guys before. My dad's best friend worked at Hendrick, and I had the when Darrell Waltrip signed with Hendrick, I had that number 17 poster. It was called the Machine, the number 17 Tide car. That was still to me one of the prettiest cars that's ever graced a NASCAR racetrack. And various different variations of that paint scheme have been on different number cars. But more or less, it looks the same, and it is always a good-looking paint scheme. So, yeah, that Tide ride, definitely good. But, yeah, William Byron, he's definitely having an underrated season. People aren't thinking about how good of a season he's having because he's not in the points lead. But he's one of those dudes flying under the radar. It definitely has to be on your radar to win the championship. Let's see, Dakota Henderson, how many I don't know. DW always rooted for the Tide car in the booth. Oh yeah, for sure. I would too, man. I think he had some good memories of that Tide car. Won the Daytona 500 in it. I love to see the 9 win at Sonoma, and I'm not an Elliott fan. LOL, says Mark Barnum. It would definitely be a big, huge story if he did that. Gain sponsored Jeff Burton and Xfinity back in the day. Yeah, the Gain car was pretty cool, and they actually brought both of those back at Petty GMS last year, and this year both of them were at Colleague. You had the Tide and the Gain cars respectively for each of those drivers. On my way to Out of the Groove Xfinity diecast today. Got my Out of the Groove Xfinity diecast today. So there you go. I've got it. I put it up there on the shelf. It is riding in view of the studio. Brendan Poole with E-Step riding, I guess, shotgun on the hood. I had a few Tide models, says Roofer. Yeah, I've got one. I don't know if you can see it. I do have a Ricky Rudd Tide is in there somewhere. I think it's behind. You can't see it from here. It's hidden, but there's a Ricky Rudd number 5 that I put together. I couldn't get the orange right, so it doesn't look as good. Let's see. I remember when Bobby Hamilton Jr. drove the Tide ride. Ricky Rudd in the 10 and the number 5 is probably what I remember best. The only reason I remember Darrell Waltrip is because I had the poster up in my room. Remember when Bobby Hamilton Jr. Drove the Tide Ride? Oh, yeah, the old 32. I remember that. I really love to see the 9 finally win at Sonoma. William Byron seems to be overlooked as a road course racer, but he's really good too. Just doesn't have that win. Yeah, you also can't factor out Tyler Reddick. He's pretty good here. Trackhouse last year was pretty good at road courses. Thomas Haywood says, I think Kyle Busch in that 9 car, a lot more wins than Chase has. Possibly. Hard to say. RJ says, I hope it brings you good luck. Timber Race saying, I hope it brings you good luck. Even as a HMS fan, I kind of want the 9 to miss the playoffs just for the chaos and insanity on Twitter and to hear about it, how the 47 wasted a spot. I hadn't even thought about that aspect of it. So, yeah, there is possibly from drama, the drama side of it, there would be an upside there. How many hours do you think Garage 56 will last? I'm hoping 24. I guess we'll set the over-under at 12. Hopefully it goes over 12. So I'm hoping over 12, but I'm hoping it runs the full 24 hours. Garage 56 will do all the laps, says Duke Chronic. Timber Race, I guess, was one of my main sponsors, Valvoline. I had free chicken tenders at Cheddar's yesterday after Busch won, says Douglas Serrano. So that's always good. A good deal. You get free tenders whenever Kyle Busch wins. So 3 times this year. People have gotten free chicken tenders. We'll see if Cheddar's does that next year. Wishing I could make it to Orange County this weekend, but I got to work. Hoping to check out the Cars Tour race at Caraway later in the month. That'll be a fun one. Cars Tour is always a good ticket. The first race I remember was Bobby and Davey, and I asked my dad, will he let his son win? And he said no, says Duke Chronic. Garage 56 will get crashed out by other cars. Hope not. Just guessing, but that's how hard prototypes and GTs race. That's true too. Hopefully Cadillac has a good showing in that one. I just want to see Cadillac run good. I'm a Cadillac sports car fanatic. Say Kyle, not Cal, or any American team really that participates. I pulled for the Ford when they were in it back in the day, the Chip Ganassi Fords. Ward Burton fan, constantly on his radio. Dude runs William Byron fan. Dude runs good at road. Threw it back to Ward Burton real quick, but always finds a problem. Reddick wrecking him, curb coming up, KFB brake checking him, and poor retaliation could go on. Yeah, that was Chad Canal's fault because William Byron wasn't about to go up there and do that. Chad Canal bullied him into doing that. So that one was on Chad. I always liked Daryl's Western Auto paint schemes. I've got the Western Auto car over there too. I'll have to take a shot. I think I've taken a shot of that before. But yeah, I've got the Western Auto car. I've got the 5 car. I've got a lot of Luminas and Grand Prix over there. I had a Wood Brothers 21 Sitco, but the stickers or decals or whatever messed up on it. I've always liked, I just read that one. AJ V8 engine came in 98 or 99. Can't remember how complete with busted plastic timing chain guides, says Sonny V. If you bet a B last name driver, you won again, says Duke Chronic. RJ says Timber Race, my hometown, is Orange County. Good old Hillsboro hasn't really changed. Yep, that's old Hillsboro. They're just as crazy as they always were. RJ, did you see that video? They hate racing for some reason in Hillsboro, but they've got one of the best tracks. It's crazy. Used to have 2 of the best tracks. They made sure one of them didn't see the light of day again. Okanichi. Did you see the video of the Garage 56 car thundering and drowning out the sound of the others? America, says Stupid Roofer. 100% on Chad calling for it, says Say Kyle. Yeah, I was so disappointed with Chad that day. Without question, I was so mad. Sonoma is also, I think Chad was disappointed in himself as well. He even said as much. Sonoma is AJ's home track. Yeah, hopefully one of these drivers that runs good at Sonoma gets one done. Ken Bodges, old Ward Burton in the Caterpillar Dodge. Yeah, no doubt about it, Ken. Shaw saying howdy. What did I miss? You ain't missed nothing, Shaw. So we'll see. We'll keep it going here as long as you guys got questions. Who's still on the Stenhouse bandwagon? Watching him point his way into the round of 12, then win Talladega. It's happening. He's had probably his statistically best season ever, I think. He was really in line for a good finish until he got caught up in the Austin fiasco. Let's see. Crown Royal car was also pretty sweet looking. Yeah, so back in the day, Dan Patrick was friends, I guess, with Matt Kenseth, or they had Crown Royal was a sponsor of the Dan Patrick Show, and they had half the side of his car in there at one point. Then he had the tires from one of the races that Matt Kenseth won. They also had Tony Stewart's number 14 Burger King, the side of his car up in there in the Dan Patrick Man Cave back in the day. So, yeah, that Crown Royal car was definitely pretty cool. Most of the iterations of it were pretty cool. Even when Jamie McMurray drove it as the 26, it wasn't a bad-looking car. I just don't like Stenhouse, but he does seem less wrecky this year. LOL, says Shaw. Yeah, ironically, he got taken out by somebody this time. Shout out to Hillsborough from Cedar Grove, says Timber Ace. All of it, says Shaw. LOL. Some of it, someone obscure always goes to the round of 8. I'm picking Stenhouse to be the oddball that stays alive. Could be. He's having a really good year under the radar. Has anyone seen the Darrell Waltrip King of the Hill ad for Autolite, the official spark plugs in NASCAR? I remember it. I remember that one. Bloomberger, I have a diecast Ford Thunderbird with fictional soda brand of Mr. Red. I don't remember that, but I remember Big Red. There was a Big Red soda, and that was on Juan Pablo Montoya's car at one point, and everybody thought it was Big Red gum. It was actually Big Red soda, and it was the most candy flavored soda I think I've ever drank in my entire life. I mean, you could feel the cavities in that thing when you were drinking it, but it never really took off. Let's see. Timber Race, I live in Tennessee nowadays, outside of Nashville, but Hillsborough will always be my home. So yeah, Hillsborough is where Orange County Speedway is at. Also, more famously, I guess, ironically, because of Dale Jr.'s Lost Speedways, that's where Okanichi Raceway was as well. It's now a walkway or track or whatever, so you can visit that as well too. As most recently, I think E-Step went down there and checked it out. Which was a good video of his, by the way. So if you want to check that one out, that's actually a good video too. Not that he needs my help in promoting anything, but I will promote it because it was a good video. Stenhouse is a good racer. I will admit I'm just jealous because he dated Danica, says Shah. Funny that I'm streaming this from Nashville Airport on my way home. Nashville Fairgrounds returning to NASCAR in 2024. Napa Racing Fan says, I would say that that's a pretty highly likely scenario. I think it's coming back. Love Big Red, still very popular in Texas. Very sweet hummingbird feeder water, says Sunny V. So I didn't even know it was still around, but yeah, that stuff, it does taste good. But man, it is super sweet. Stenhouse, that's cool. They still make it in Texas. I'll have to next time I'm in Texas, I'll have to go down there and scoop up a bottle. Stenhouse is going to get one, and Kyle Busch is going to get 8. I'm standing my ground, says Roofer. Hey, there you go. To be fair, Roofer, I said what, 3 to 5 at the beginning of the year. He said 8, and right now Kyle Busch winning. I think this was your statistic. Winning 1 out of every 5 races is on pace to get that 8th win this season. 8 wins this season, especially if you factor in Xfinity and trucks and all that stuff. I think you're a safe bet, which I wasn't when I picked mine. So if we're factoring all that in, you're 8. He'll definitely get the 8. Worldwide tech power outage. Lost my in-car radio and MRN, says Willow Spicewood. Yeah, and the only thing I can say about that is the only thing that would make that funny is like if it was some dude working in his backyard with post hole diggers and he took out the fiber optics for the entire block. And what if that's how the Wi-Fi went down at Worldwide Speedway? That's the only silver lining of something funny I could find there. RJ Blendenberger, the Okanichi Speedway almost got the same configuration as Richmond would receive in the 90s. Hey, so maybe they saved it from itself. Although Richmond in the 90s was actually putting on good races. So I don't know. Maybe they can fix Richmond at some point. Rowdy Rules, says Shy. Rowdy's definitely on one this year. I knew he would be. A focused with a chip on his shoulder Kyle Busch is a hard Kyle Busch to beat. Did Ricky Rudd win the first Sonoma Cup race in the Quaker State car? I think he won it. It was either him or Rusty Wallace won the first Sonoma race. But yeah, that was back in the day when Ricky Rudd was the road course. He was the man on road courses. So that would line up. I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure. Yep, in 1989, says RJ. So there you go. 1989, he got it done. I love how Worldwide Technology Raceway had an internet problem. Not a good name for a track, obviously. Yeah, for sure. That was the worst thing that could happen for that sponsor of that racetrack. Y'all probably talked about it, but just hit me that I know Wi-Fi through all the teams back 15 years for that race. Yeah, Alan Gustafson looked like he didn't know what to do, and a lot of Chase Elliott fans were like, that is typical Alan Gustafson. There are a lot of Chase Elliott fans that have no faith in Alan Gustafson for whatever reason. He only won him a championship. So I don't get it, but I guess he needs to adapt with the times and get some old school knowledge of how to tune on a car with driver feedback and not with data. The irony, says RJ, talking about the Wi-Fi going out at Worldwide Technology Speedway. I thought so. I've seen the race before, but it's been a while, says Napa fan. Stage cautions killed Road America. Would love to see it back next year to replace the Chicago street race. Yeah, with no breaks for the stages, I think that would be a good idea too. Ricky Rudd should have won that Sonoma race when they black flagged him and gave the win to Davey Allison. Yeah, I can't even remember what they black flagged him for, but I remember that controversy back in the day. Sonoma 91 has to be the best example of NASCAR, and NASCAR is going to NASCAR every chance NASCAR gets to NASCAR. There's no doubt about that. That's the most NASCAR thing you'll ever NASCAR. Douglas Serrano, I got to go now. It was fun chatting with you. I'll see you next time. Occoneechee Speedway is wild to walk on the back straightaway and just see how close it is to the river. Yeah, it is pretty close to the river. Douglas Serrano, have a good night, says RJ. That car on your desk gives me PTSD of 2018, like actual PTSD on how Cole, crew chief, choked that championship away. Let's see here. But if you look here, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look here, make the PTSD go away, because there's your Cole Custer Kansas win, dude. So there you go. Hopefully that helps out your PTSD, Moulton. Let's see. Sha with a thumbs up. Appreciate you, Sha. Bring back Road America. To be clear, I'm not against the street race. I just don't like politics surrounding it in Chicago. This is Napa Racing fan. Yeah, so that's my deal. You can get politics or anything anywhere you want to. That's why I stay away from them. Politics and religion, I try to stay away from them because you can get those at any other channel. That's why I just try to make this one about racing, because I feel like people need a break from it. Like Dale Jr. said, go back to Chicagoland. I think a lot of people would like that. There's still a lot of trash from the last race in 1968 at Occoneechee. Ironically, it's getting picked up by a lot of collectors, I'm betting, after Lost Speedways and Eric Estep went there. At least get back to Chicagoland. You got to put that NASCAR phrase on a shirt, says Tim Brace. I did back in the day, back when I had the Teespring store, but I took it down. So maybe the next shirt we make with the accelerated graphics deal, we'll get it going. Later, Douglas Serrano and Douglas is saying bye to Roofer and RJ. Kentucky would probably bring out a more positive look than Chicago streets at this point. Racing, no politics, says Roofer. Yeah, Kentucky, I hate that they lost their track for sure. Thanks for another great live. Gotta go, says Jamie. BB is the best. I appreciate your support there, Jamie Schweitzer. And it's looking like that is the end of the questions. So we're going to end this poll right here. And I am going to hop off. It was fun, guys, as always. And I will catch you on the next one. Peace.